Thank you very much, Otwin and Valdu. Uh, Unfortunately, last time I was also supposed to talk when Juan was also giving another talk related. Uh, but I'm now healthy back again and very much happy to share my thoughts and experience. I'm going to give a sort of illustrative talk, so to speak, based upon one of the latest research works I have performed with Otun. This was truly a very, very challenging, quite an honor for me to work with him. So I'm based upon this joint paper. The title is Coping with Persistent Stresses and Polycrisis and Community-Based Policy Making and Local Empowerment. There are a couple of messages I'd like to share with you today. One is this message first. Theory and practice should go hand in hand. Theory, you truly need a theoretical background, disciplinary backbone. But also with this, you should also go to real fields, and practices are very important. But also practices are not simply for the sake of practices, but that's also where you can learn a lot and get lots of imaginations and new knowledge. And for this purpose, this is also another keyword I'd like to share with you. And communicative space type of common ground we need, and academics and practitioners should work together for this purpose. But when you do sort of say community-based type of say participatory approach, you also need this kind of communicative space to be built and also fostered together with community people. And real case feeds are sources of new discovery and realization, and working hypothesis and evidence and episodes. And with this belief, I've been working in the town of Chizu almost 40 years. I was also visiting and relating myself to other reference case fields like Ida City in Nagano, Japan Alps area, and Oguni Town, Kumamoto, Uchiko Town, Ehime, and so forth, just to check if my seemingly a very specialized area is just a very, very rare case, or similar kinds of things could be said for other areas. Recently, I'm also doing, say, challenge, taking up a challenge to apply this, my experience and framework to the disaster-stricken area of Suzu, Noto Peninsula, Ishikawa. My message too is this: methodology of polycrisis and systemic risk. We need to study evidence-based approach, and overarching interconnecting dynamics are also very important. And sort of say out-of-box thinking leverages need to be better challenged by being in the real fields. And real fields are full of out-of-box phenomena, especially for disaster-bounded minded researchers and practitioners, but also for other disciplinary researchers and practitioners, and both need to work together more creatively in the real fields. And message 3 is community-based decade-long fieldworks help develop and time-tested systemic perspectives. And case of Chizu Totori is one example, which I'm going to explain. But also, as I mentioned, I'm now taking another challenge to apply this framework and method to the case of Chitsu, Noto Town. My 40-year field and theory and back and forth approach has resulted in the following framework. And this was a kind of, say, work I successfully did with autoimmune when I was doing my research at the IRGC with autoimmune before COVID-19 started. And I published a related paper here. And also, this time we work together to advance this approach. And new research paper has been published. But anyway, the idea we came up with, the framework is like this. You stay in a real community for 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades long. Then you'll see so many different types of broadened sense of the disasters, including mega disasters, social changes, infectious diseases, globalization, demographic changes, and climate change issues. All types of persistent disaster stresses hitting the community. So with this kind of persistent pressures, how you can resist yourself and how resilient you could be against, and also what? So that's say you could somehow navigate this kind of thing to find your place becoming better, build back better. And this dynamics should start in a very small and solid and modest and multiple and anticipatory and adaptive and timely transform to change. That's how smart governance works. You also need to be responsive and risk concerned. And you go back and forth. On the right side, you can see that this kind of, say, spiral dynamics could work together. So you could get updated from one stage to another. If you're working hypothesis and the way you adapt and anticipate are okay. In the latest paper with Otwin, we sort of say revise this idea by adding a timely, basically the same idea, the smart sparring dynamics, so to speak, should go this way. And also systemic risk governance triangle, we proposed with new thought added in the center, that's a public communicative space, which also is very important when you wish to keep things persistently changed. Also, the 5-story pagoda model should be more effectively used, and this could apply to think of one community. For instance, say, in the case of the Noto Peninsula, the damaged area very recently, I am applying this pagoda to the community people. They wish to envision in what way they should come up with some master curriculum of symbolic thing for which they should think, oh, this is the way, this makes sense for us to keep staying and living. In what way? And there are lots of layers you need to be better connected. I just pick up one table from our paper, and this explains the different types of governance schemes. And actually, A kind of thing I am now explaining is somewhere here. Okay, smart governance and the persistent stressors in Chizu. Uh, 4 stages. Uh, they consist of 4 stages, and progresses have been repeatedly made. And our frame of reference for building up communities' capacity, transformative resilience of community, and polycrisis as potential creative drivers, and persistent destructive stresses, and leading motivated communities to be focused and prioritized, and communities' holistic capacity models as smart governance. We need to foster community space for building up better. So put this one in the context of the Town I've been working with. And Town Total Prefecture, just to give you an idea, the Total Prefecture is facing the Sea of Japan, and this is the Tottori Prefecture. And Japan and Kyoto is somewhere. Actually, Noto Peninsula is, again, this is also facing the Sea of Japan, and there is a relatively broad peninsula here. Okay, and just to give you an idea, so over the last couple of decades, this region has been constantly losing population and aging worsening. So in that sense, not getting everything wronger, or I mean, but if you have a microscopic view of what has been happening, some microdynamics, you can see some promising dynamics going on. You can see some new growth and new challenges going on. And Zero to One movement has been proposed as a community initiative and implemented by all, including municipal office. And our communities need to be changed, and we need to stand up, and the towns should finance and officiate a project 10 years, and academics, experts, motivated supporters, please come and work us together. And this started around 1995, and then restarted, and then next. The idea is like this. This is the idea I came up with. The 0 to 1 growth is like this. So this is a seed. Something you need to grow. A kind of, say, treasure in this town. How you can grow it to 1. Something very small, but it's a very, well, promising identity. What is 0 to 1 movement? It could also be regarded this way, so say enormous growth rate. 0 to 1 or 1 over 0. Yeah, it approaches infinity. So if it is very, very small, very, very small, and then you make it 1 unity, even if it seems minor, but the growth dynamics is very big. So we should have a focus on this kind of change. And actually, 0 to 1 movement manifestos, they were requested to comply with 1 times 3 requirements for each community. One is this column. So you should find out some treasure or gem or pride. And then community self-governance capacity should be promoted, and community's resource management capacity needs to be enhanced, and also community's communicative space, capacity to work together with others and outside and meet people. And 3 triangles should get together around this master column, you need this kind of communicative space. And actually, this communicative space is regarded as a kind of a association, joint association. The team was asked to set up and stick to. Uh, so this way, we expect the stage-wise growth spirally, one small change, the next small change, and the third bit sort of a bigger change. And actually, for this purpose, Yonmenkai system workshop method has been introduced. And actually, this method has also been developed by myself and people working there. This has a long history already and applied also to other countries like Indonesia and many other places. But in the process of this zero to one movement in Chizu, this method was used. But this is a working, uh, this is also workshop method, so it could be regarded as a kind of communicative media. I don't have say enough time to talk about this, but just to give an idea, so this is just a square table, and in center, master column or goal needs to be stated, revive our abundant school, for instance. And then different resources, facility, and this is money and value, human resources, and knowledge and communication. So all need to be put up together uh, step by step. For instance, say 1 year, you make it. But people who are there are not just the persons who can get committed. Actually, people can also network with others who are outside. So potentially connected people also uh, invited. This way you can discover and expose missing and hidden resources and people altogether. Hidden resources discovered, hidden people discovered, more win-win solution developed, and people get excited and their coping capacity empowered. Just to give an idea of how it has been going on. And finally, they said that we all get committed to the following: abandon the former local elementary school to be used this way, this way, this way. So lots of ideas here, and you get committed. The next thing is that you should truly implement it step by step. Okay, this zero to one movement had, say, 3 stages, as I mentioned. This is the first stage. Actually, this was a kind of a preliminary stage to come up with the idea of this proposed zero to one movement project. And then, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so this is just one, this gives an idea how it works. Second time, third time. And as you go upper, I mean, the first one, say each elementary village-wise, and the next it's more valley-wise. And then you hope everyone to get more networked. This is just I give you an idea of say how people work together to estimate how many people would survive within the next 10 years, to speak. And they did a lot of homework, no workshop, and stayed at the same cottage and came up with this kind of idea. And then they eventually made it. And the first action plan was implemented like this. Anyway, okay. No, sorry, it was, I'm afraid that it's a double. Fifth, something. Huh? Hmm? Okay, so 0 to 1 movement now enters stage 4, named post-0 to 1. Without municipality subsidy or strong support, community people are doing their own way to get more networks and more activated and foster a creative meeting places, so to speak. More communicative, creative communicative spaces serve as a pivotal foundation for building citizens' power to change and vitalize the town and beyond, thus contributing to smart governance under persistent stresses. So like the first stage, second stage, and the third stage, communicative spaces are growing and people are becoming more vivid and vital step by step. So takeaways. Theory and practice should go hand in hand. For this purpose, communicative space needed. Real case fields are full of sources of new discoveries and realization and data. And the methodology of polycrisis and systemic risk, we need to study evidence-based overarching and interconnecting dynamics and out-of-box thinking leverage. This is just one case I can share with you. But as I mentioned, I'm now also doing some other parallel studies if this kind of approach could also work for other areas. Thank you very much for attention.